DGVFF is a superb solution for packers, 3PLs, and freight consolidators that validates the segregation of dangerous goods in compliance to IMDG regulations, consolidates DG and non-DG optimally into containers. It is incredibly fast and accurate and provides a service using the latest cloud technology. Save time, book loads faster, get port acceptance before you load the containers. Welcome to DGVFF. Innovation by Ideabytes Inc. leverages the latest modeling technologies to ensure DGVFF is compliant to IMDG. It uses the latest technologies in web development, such as AngularJS, to provide stable, fast computation to analyze hundreds of loads in seconds. DGVFF executes in web browsers, eliminating the need of IT support for maintenance and installation. It also helps companies to transition to mobile devices, which is more in line with the needs of the transportation industry. DGVFF supports the consolidation of both hazmat and non-hazmat loads, keeping food and consumables for humans and animals away from poisons and toxic material. With DGVFF, one is always assured they're using the latest version, the data is private and secure. Shipping is global, and so is DGVFF. Whether one is a small business or a global conglomerate, DGVFF empowers and drives the bottom line. Easy to follow multilingual interfaces that support simultaneous users anywhere in the world. Just imagine 150 loads validated, segregated, and consolidated with hazmat and non-hazmat loads in seconds. SOLAS compliance statements included. All this supported by a 24/7 team. Could anyone want more? To access DGVFF, launch a web browser and enter trial.dgvff.com for the URL. Enter the username and the password and click on Login. This is the home screen for DGVFF. Let's take a quick walk through the features available. Verify load. It's used to validate that the bill of lading or declaration is compliant to IMDG. Compliant loads are accumulated for container consolidation. Container consolidation, a function that lets a user consolidate all verified loads into containers. Verify container is meant for carriers to quickly verify all loads in a container are compliant to IMDG. DGCheck allows for the search of pseudonames used to mask hazmat goods. User options allows users to retrieve their prior transactions, manage preferred port configurations, look up a single load, change passwords, and view the tutorial. The language feature allows one to change the interface language on the fly. For example, this is in Hindi, this is in French, this is in Spanish, this is in Arabic, this is in Urdu, this is in Vietnamese. Going back to English.
To verify a load, select whether the load is DG or non-DG. Enter the bill of lading or pro bill number. Select the sailing date from the drop-down calendar. The port of loading and the port of discharge from the preferred port list. Or you may enter the actual port every time by choosing the country of departure, the port of departure, the country of discharge, and the port at which you're going to discharge the load. Select the rules by which to validate the loads, either IMDG or any special carrier rules. The UN number and the proper shipping name is displayed. In this case is Matilal. Then select the packing group. In this case, there's only one packing group, so you only have an option of 2. The product is displayed. It's a class 3, no special provisions. Stowage code is E, and there are no segregation codes. Type either non-bulk, limited quantity, bulk, or accepted quantity. Enter the number of packages, the DG weight per package. Enter the flashpoint from the declaration and tick SOLAS method to verify if the packages have been weighed at the terminal. When this is done, click on Add. If it's acceptable, it'll display on the right hand side with the green check mark. Now let's add a second load. UN 1002, which is air compressed, non-bulk, number of packages 10, it says 500 kilos. And immediately gives an error message saying the package quantity cannot be more than 450 kilos. Whoops, it was a typo. It's actually 450 kilos. And then I click on SOLAS 2, having verified the weight at the terminal, and I say Add. Since this is a class 2 and a class 3 going in a container, it says, sorry, can't accept it. And you see the red cross both the top and the bottom. Since it's an error from the shipper, you can ask the shipper to correct the bill of lading, or if it's packed on a skid, the skid has to be split into 2 skids. And we can send this back to the shipper by printing an error report which says these 2 have to be separated. Having processed the first load, let's process the second load, this time with a class 2 and a class 3, but the class 2 being in limited quantity. Enter the pro bill number. And then as my ports are not in my preferred list, I can click on preferred port and then actually enter the ports of loading and ports of discharge. I then select the rules by which to verify, and then enter 1203 for the UN number. It displays me a list of possible preferred names, and I choose gasoline. This must match the declaration for it to be accurate. I then choose non-bulk, 12 packages at 100 liters each, flashpoint 23, and I say Add. I then enter 1002 compressed air as before, and this time I choose LQ, and then I say strong outer packaging, like a cardboard box. And then it also checks the weight to make sure the weight is correct as per IMDG rules. So if I enter 1 kilo per unit, for limited quantity unit, it'll kick back an error. I enter 1, and it says the max weight cannot exceed 120 milliliter or 120 grams. So go back and I correct it to 120 grams. Number of package is 100. Yes. Again, it reminds me whether or not I've checked my weight. I said yes, I have. So I go back and I click on SOLAS and I accept it. This time you notice this is accepted because a class 2 and a class 3, when one of them is a limited quantity, is acceptable per IMDG. Click on the print button to get a summary manifest. It summarizes the loads, lists the stowage codes, the emergency measures codes, identifies the labeling on each of the packages, as well as the placarding for container. Another simple load. Let's choose a big load from Boston to Mumbai. I choose today's sailing date, select the rule, select the container size. You'll see the number of loads that have to be consolidated. Quite a few. This would take almost a day and a half if it was done manually. Click on them, it shows you what's inside each container, each load. And you can see each load has an average between 2 to 5 loads. And the red items are ones that have not been SOLAS verified, and the green have been SOLAS verified. We select all of them and click on Add button. The machine now starts to work. You'll see a message that says 2 loads could not be consolidated because the 20-foot containers were too small for the weight you're supposed to consolidate. It then gives you a list of LQ, EQ loads that have to be put and lets you choose which container to place it in. So click on the load, click on Find, and choose the container in which you wish to place it. And repeat this for each of the loads. And it's all done. So right there you'll see it gave me a total of 12 containers and 2 loads that could not be processed because they were too heavy for a 20-foot. Clicking on Print All prints all the manifests, which can then be sent to a carrier and which can then be forwarded to a port for acceptance. A very good summary of the loads done instantaneously in seconds, not hours, not days. It provides a summary of the NOS items, as well as the labeling and PSNs that have to go on each of the packages. After consolidation, the loads can be split into multiple containers by clicking on the Split button, entering the number of containers you want to split it into, and clicking OK. Assign names to container 1 and container 2, and drop the loads into the respective containers. Click on Split, and voila, you've got a split. Once the port has accepted the container, one can enter the container number, the booking ID, dunning weight, select the container type of the dry box, heated box, or reefer, entering the weight of dunning, for example 300 kilos, the tar weight of the container 2100 kilos. Click on Save, and then one can print the summary manifest in the final form. the summary of goods, the placarding, and the labels on each of the packages. Simple, quick, and efficient. Carriers that receive declarations and bill of ladings for containers can verify it very quickly with the verify container option. Enter the pro bill number or the bill of lading number. Enter the UN number. Validate the proper shipping name. Choose the package type, number of packages, the weight per package, so as verified yes or no. Next number, 1203. Gasoline, verify the PSN is correct. Non-bulk, number of packages, 10. 400 liter drums, flashpoint 23, so as verified yes, add. And immediately get a red X saying this container is not valid for transportation as per IMDG. Process requests from shippers quickly, accurately, and get them the port approvals as soon as possible. Hazmat goods require special packaging, which costs 10 to 20 times more than regular packaging. So many shippers try to avoid the packaging by masquerading it as a non-DG goods. For example, a shipper could masquerade a dangerous good and call it banana oil. And how would you, the carrier, identify that this is indeed a dangerous good? Enter banana oil in the text, in the chemical name box, and do search. And bingo, it comes back, banana oil is known pseudonym for UN 1104. At this point, the carrier can either reject the load or ask the shipper for the proof of classification. One can also search for goods by CAS number. Or by chemical name. And verify whether the dangerous good being presented is a known regulated hazmat material. One can retrieve transactions by clicking on User Options, Retrieve Transactions, selecting Container Consolidation, for example, the date from which you started looking for, and click on the Submit button. A listing of all the transactions are displayed, and one can edit it by clicking the green button to retrieve the transactions for review or finalization, or deleting a load, which then goes back into the main pool. So let's assume that we got an approval for a single container and we want to finalize it. We click on the Finalize button, choose the container type, container ID, the booking number, the dunning weight, in this case is 200 kilos, tar weight, 2,500 kilos, and we say save. It then prints the final summary manifest, indicates the placarding to be put on the container and the labeling on each of the packets.